Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. Guess who's back with us? It's Bill Welychka. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing great. I loved chatting with you the first time. You're such an amazing person, and I don't know if anyone watched, and they hopefully they sensed the connection because I certainly did. So thank you.
I did too, Bill. I felt, boy, we just connected together and you have such a great story. I was so grateful to have you on, and the viewers love you and Canada loves you. So, as you all know, oh my goodness, Bill was amazing and a journalist all in Canada, but actually became a national icon, did so well. And oh my goodness. And then his story just got better. And he's talking to us today about his book. It was A Happy Has Been, but edition two. So we did have him on with edition one, and now we're going to talk about edition two. But Bill, I want to circle back a bit because you have an amazing story. You talked to us the first time about your journey with the Happy Husband, the book, but I want to go a little bit deeper
Let's
because
do it.
just so you know, got your book on Kindle, got everything here, read the book, love it. I read your book. And in there, you overcame so many things at a young age. And I wondered if we could just walk down that road a little bit for the viewers. You talked about some personal grief that you had, some things you had to overcome. And I wondered if we could go back there and start there.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me again. And yeah, you mentioned I have a neat story. I think, and I talk about this in the book, I think everyone has a story. You have a story for sure. You've dealt with trauma in your life. I think everyone has, and it doesn't escape me that I am very blessed to have an opportunity to put out a book and talk about my life, and talk about funny stories, talk about sad stories, and it is such an amazing opportunity. But again, I think everyone has a great story, and we can learn from everyone's life's journey and what they have learned, and everyone can extrapolate something from everyone else. And so again, I feel blessed that I have this opportunity to talk about my story. But that being said, I know that everyone has a great story. But yeah, I grew up the youngest of a large family. A lot of my older brothers are now dead from drugs or alcohol. Both parents are dead just from age, and I moved around a lot when I was a kid, which is traumatic for any kid, changing schools halfway through grade school or halfway through a high school, moving far away, because friends at that age are very important to one's life. And yeah, just switching schools halfway through high school was very traumatic. I used to have a stuttering problem and fought through it during college, actually, when I had to start giving presentations and speaking in front of a class and eventually being on TV with much music. I really had to find a way, and I found a way through it, how to overcome stuttering. So, yeah, a little bit of obstacles throughout my life, but again, everyone has had obstacles, and we hopefully have our way of finding our way through those things, and hopefully with support from family or friends, maybe therapy, nothing wrong with that. Depression as well, a big part of my life, and I still take antidepressants. But the one of the tools for me was music early on. And especially through high school, those formative years, finding a band like The Cure, for instance, or relating to Robert Smith's songwriting, and realized a long, long time ago, even during much music and then much more music to this day, in fact, I've realized music is a friend. Music, it's more than just entertainment for me, and I think for a lot of people, it's something that you can hang on to as an escape. Like I said, it can be a friend, it can be a companion on long drives. It's there at weddings, it's there at funerals. There's nothing like music, not books, not movies to me anyway, that can elevate you, that can let you fly away somewhere and come back. And you experience that at a concert. Speaking of The Cure, I remember seeing The Cure a couple of years ago in Toronto, and I've seen them many times. And a lot of bands do that to me. The Tragically Hip does that to me.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin does that to me. The Cure does that for me. Where you're looking around and you're seeing 20,000 strangers, but you're all traveling and you're all experiencing this moment of love and adoration for the music and escape, and memories come flying back because music can be nostalgia, and it's such a wonderful journey to go on these places, and you're doing it communally And I experienced that with Oasis when I saw them in Toronto last month too. One of my favorite bands. I love Oasis. And you look around and you people dancing and singing and hugging each other, total strangers. And music does that. And it's such an amazing thing. I owe a lot to music, not just my career, but to my mental health as well.
That's fantastic. The journey that you have. You know what? You are right, Bill. Everyone, I think when you were talking about the concerts years ago, I'm dating myself, but I actually, when I was a young teenager, I worked at the exhibition in the works department. And it was one summer. And because I worked there, I was able to get track tickets to see some of the concerts. And who was playing then was ELO.
This is
Okay,
at the
remember them?
grandstand? This would have been the grandstand days then.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so we had ELO, we had, oh my gosh, Kenny Rogers played that year. Not Pat Benatar, sorry, Hart played. Remember Ann and Nancy Wilson? That
Yep. Oh
whole
yeah. They're
summer,
still at
oh
it.
my goodness, I got to see everyone. It was so amazing. So when those songs come on, you're absolutely right, Bill. It takes us back. And I know you've probably been through relationships in life, and I can remember times when you break up with a boyfriend and you get that music on and you're with your girlfriends crying or your guy friends. I don't know what guys do, but I guess you probably do the music, you're in the bar, whatever you're doing. But we do have, it does take us back to those memories. And music, I think, actually lifts us up from sad times and says it's okay because you will heal. And later on in life, you look back and you go, oh, I wasn't so bad. And that music got you through, right?
Absolutely. And it's funny because we're talking about nostalgia here.
Yeah,
I don't like to live in the past. I certainly had to the past several years with a film loosely based on my life where I played myself that looked back. The book looks back, and there's nothing wrong with that. I prefer to look forward to the future. I just think
sure.
it's more exciting to look
Yeah,
forward to the future. But one of the things that the first book that came out in 2023, doing these book tours and meeting people and meeting so many people that shared their story with me about what much music meant to them, what a certain interview meant to them, what an artist means to them,
yeah,
what those times represent to them, what much music did for Canada and Canadian pop culture, and what it did for the artists in some
yeah,
cases. And I'm hearing all these stories, and I've heard so many stories from people from all walks of life talking about those days during those book tours that I felt I had to touch on that for the second edition. And I did. And I related some of the stories. And in fact, a lot of people had stories about interviews that I had forgotten about that I didn't talk about in the first book. So in hotel rooms at night, I was like scribbling, thinking, okay, if I do a second book, I should probably add this story about Metallica. I should probably add this story about Bob Geldof. I should probably add this story about whoever. And I think by the end of that second book tour, it was like, yep, there's definitely a second edition in here. And of course, a great big long afterword for the second edition, which brings the story up to date. And I joke in the afterword that if I got hit by a car tomorrow and died, now the story is complete because there was a job loss last year. Kingston lost their TV and radio, very sadly. It's happening in print, it's happening in radio, it's happening in
everywhere.
television all across Canada. A few markets had to deal with that. And going to a gas station or going to a grocery store and having people saying, I miss you, I miss you, I miss you, where are you? And the thought process that goes along with after 36 years of being in broadcasting, realizing, I think I'm done. I think I'm done doing what I have always done during my adult life. And then finding a second career in sales, automotive sales in Gananoque at Ganshev, a very reputable dealership that has clients stretching all the way from Toronto to Ottawa because of their reputation. And I've been doing that for the past 8 months. It's not broadcasting, but I still do some interviews and commercials for what's left of our TV station here. But sadly, the news desk comes out of Peterborough. Much of the news comes out of Toronto. They did keep two reporters, but there's no building anymore. If people watch, they know what I'm talking about. But yeah, a career change. And that's something a lot of people in media have had to deal with,
Yeah.
whether you're in radio or TV or print. And more than a few times, I've had friends throughout the years had to do a career change because broadcasting just wasn't there anymore. And so, yeah, I'm not the first. I'm not going to be the last to do a career change, but television has been very good to me in my life.
And Bill, thank you for sharing that. But honestly, you're right. We want to come to your second edition, but we also want to do a current chapter. And you were very open about that. And you're working with a car dealership. I actually follow you on social media. You're doing a great job. Your clients love you. And you know what? You're helping people. We all face career. I was let go of a job because the company closed, and you never seem to get warning. You just end up, oh my gosh, now what?
Because that's
And
exactly what happens. You get an email, everyone come to the boardroom. Here's your package. See ya.
yeah, and you're just like, what? I gave all my life, but we people have to remember, and I want to say this for the viewers as you're watching Bill, he truly is absolutely doing wonderful things for his life, and I commend you for it. I've had to do it. We've all had to make fast changes. And Bill, we talked a little bit about the world today. It is strenuous. This world has a lot, I would say, for the last 20 years, and I'm being loose on that year, but we've had so many things affect our lives, mentally especially, that we've had to overcome adversity. We've had to reassess our lives. We've had to make changes. The security in jobs is, remember the days when people worked for 30, 40 years in a company? That just doesn't happen anymore. And you had a great career in music. I understand that. But now you're in the dealership, and I want you to say their name again. I'm going to make sure I put the dealership name here. What is it?
It's known as GAN Chev. It's in Gananoque, Gananoque Chevrolet. We sell Chevrolet GMC products. We sell
Beautiful.
Buicks. We sell Cadillac. And I sold a Tahoe last week. And I have sold lots of Equinoxes and lots of new Buicks.
I
I
own an Equinox, Bill.
do you? I love
Yeah.
them. Yeah, they're a very popular car.
The
I
last three of my cars were Equinox, just so you
That's
know.
amazing.
Yeah.
I have yet to sell a Corvette or an Escalade. That's my goal.
Oh, I no, I've looked at Escalades, let me tell you.
Yeah, they're beautiful vehicles. Of course,
Oh
like
my
Cadillac.
goodness.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know
But
what?
they
There's nothing like the moment when you get a new car. And Bill, you're just the person that I see you with pictures with your clients, and they are so happy. And I think the big thing, I was in sales myself in life too. I think the big thing is when you can help your customers find that perfect car for themselves, they're never going to forget you, and they're going to tell their families and their friends. And I know you're successful doing it because you have a big heart and you're a good person.
when I heard from them after the layoffs happened,
Sure.
they said, "Have you considered sales?" Because they were a client of ours. They give to the community in so many ways, Ganchev, I'm talking about. And what was
Sure.
amazing was when they reached out and said, "Have you ever thought about sales?" I said, "I've facilitated sales with clients and a sales department. I'm usually the middleman, but never directly involved in sales." And they said, if you interview people for a living, that's exactly what a salesman does, especially for a vehicle, finding out about their lifestyle. Do they have kids? Do they go camping? Do they tow anything? What's their lifestyle like? Would you like an EV? Do you travel a lot in the city? Do you travel a lot on the highway? So all these little things factor into helping someone. I realized after a few sales that, yeah, I'd like to think that's what I'm doing is I don't consider myself a salesperson. I consider myself being at service to someone and essentially helping someone and being of assistance to them. And then at the end of that process of finding what they like, it's that moment where they realize that they're happy. And it is a huge purchase. It's the second largest purchase we're all going
Yeah.
to make in our lives is a vehicle. And to know that I somehow played a tiny part in helping them achieve freedom in some cases, an economic benefit, getting them to a job, that freedom to travel on weekends, doing it with in a safe manner with safety features that I'm recommending. And it all ties into the idea of being at service for someone. And I like to think that's what I've done my whole life.
You
So it's
have.
sort
And
of an
very,
extension of broadcasting in a weird way. Yeah.
yeah, and you know what? It's good. We all have, I feel like we all have to have something, a raison d'etre. You need something every morning to be able to get up, feel good about, and boy, whatever. You're right. It really doesn't matter what we do as long as we're happy doing it. I think that's the big thing. And now, do you happen to have a copy of your book in front of you?
Yeah, I have one of my bookshelves here is just all music biographies, and for some reason I stuck mine in there. So here is Let the Light
There we go. Perfect. I was waiting for the light to come in there.
So
Perfect.
it is called A Happy Has Been. Paul Langlois from the Tragically Hip did the foreword,
How
and I was blessed
nice.
to have that. And yeah, it's the second edition. So it's put the same cover, but it'll say second edition next to my big fat head here.
Right.
Yeah. But
Perfect. And the reason I wanted you to show it, Bill, because I truly did read your book, and the second edition, I'm moving along in. I want to get the second edition. That one I haven't downloaded yet, and I want to be reading that for the viewers to be able to bring that forward. I'm going to be putting some comments in about the books too, and I want you to know that when you share your story, that so many people, and I keep coming back to, have been through so much in life, and it's such a commendable thing that you did to bring your story forward. And you know what, Bill, you offer, I remember you said in our last interview, you said some people even want to sign your book when they're at the dealership, or they want to send in pictures and things like that. You're doing exactly what you did in the interviews. Not only were you asking questions, but you're relatable and you're kind and you're letting them have that story that they're looking for. Does that make sense?
absolutely. Yeah, it blew me away my first few sales. Some people joked, if I buy a car, are you going to throw in a book? And I'm like, yeah, the book just came out, the second edition. So I would go to Chapters and buy books and give them to customers when they would come to pick up your car. My boss found out and HR found out, and they're like, let's just buy some books for you and then make it part of the deal for them.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. So I ask every customer once they buy a car, I go, would you like a copy of the book? And they're like, everyone has said yes, no one has said no. And so I joke, I go, buy a very expensive book and I'll throw in a car for free.
I love it. I love
Sure.
that. That's a good way to do it. And again, it's all just so giving and everybody's happy and it's just a wonderful moment. So I
And
really commend you. And kudos to you for doing something you want to do in life and you love to do. I cannot stress enough to our viewers that whatever we have to do in life, make it your own. Embrace it. Embrace your life. Embrace whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life.
mm,
And let me tell you something, being a car salesman, I've been in sales my entire life. I love it. I used to have a friend of mine, they used to say, when you're doing sales, it's like you have the hand of life in your hand because people resonate with that. When they're purchasing something from you, they're giving you their hard-earned money, no matter what it is, to purchase something for their life. And when you're doing that, if you feel good about that, it makes them feel good. It makes yourself feel good. So I think it's great. Wow.
one
I
of the
think what you're
things,
doing is amazing.
Teresa, one of the things that I grappled with at the beginning of this stage of my career, being in automotive sales, is there's that negative connotation that comes up with a guy smoking a cigar with a ill-fitting polyester suit going, hey, come on, what do I gotta do to put you behind the wheel of this car? Have I got a deal for you? Thankfully, luckily, I've never uttered those words.
No, and I would imagine every Monday morning or whatever day you start your week, you're out there doing something for yourself. We all have to take care of ourselves, Bill, and that's amazing. I think it's great. I think the dealership has the best asset they could have. I'm sure there's lots of wonderful people there, so don't get me wrong. I just know you, Bill.
I'm so lucky.
Yeah, like
Great
how
people there.
all of you are lucky to have each other and you're going to build a company that's got a great reputation, going to move forward, and you're part of that process. So well
Well,
done.
how blessed am I? Again, Chev has been around for 49 years. Like I said, they have a solid reputation. Their service department has an amazing reputation as well. We take care of our customers, and I hear from clients all the time. I don't like to say clients, I say guests. "Oh, I went to this one dealership, my last vehicle, and this happened or this happened, and I've been hearing such amazing things about Ganchev, and I see you in the commercials, and I thought I'd give you a chance, you guys a chance." And again, how blessed am I to hear comments like that?
Yeah.
And I hear about other dealerships and it's cutthroat and it can be very aggressive for salespeople to try and keep that client, make that sale. And salespeople will cut each other, undercut each other, or try and there's a not here, not at Ganchev. It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
a team. It's a well-oiled machine that everyone works great. And if someone is busy, someone else will step up. Can I get you anything? Oh, I'm looking for a key for this vehicle. You'll see three salespeople all running around trying to help you find that
Oh,
key.
nice.
It's just, and it's great management. Jamie Hall, his father Dewey Hall started it 49 years ago. And again,
Oh,
Mike Kellum, one of my managers, Doug Lloyd is one of the managers, another salesperson. I love him. Kat in HR. I can go on with all these names, but yeah, just an amazing group from top to bottom there, and I'm grateful.
oh, absolutely. But
They're in Gananoque. There's only two exits in Gananoque. It's pretty much everyone in the region knows where Ganshev is.
oh, do they? Okay. Okay. I'll have to find it myself, Bill. I have to come out there and see
I
it.
hope so. I'm dying to meet you. I'm dying to be in your presence at some point.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Aquay is 15 minutes east of Kingston. So not only do we cover all of Eastern Ontario, but we have a lot of Kingston clients, Belleville, all the way west to Brighton and I'm doing, I don't know when this will air, but in a couple of days, I'll be driving a brand new Tahoe to Toronto
Oh,
to deliver to a customer that bought a Tahoe. They found their perfect vehicle, the trim level, it's a 2025 Tahoe. They love everything
nice.
about it. And so I'll be driving them their Tahoe to Toronto, and then a driver's going to follow me from Gan. I get them to do all their paperwork, and then I get a ride back to Kingston.
That's fantastic. So
So,
you do personal service like that. That's
oh yeah,
amazing.
yeah, all the way to Ottawa to yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they did that. That's amazing because I've always gone to the dealership. You wait for the car and then you drive it off. And
We have a long list of clients and two or three generations from all over the place that
nice.
love Ganshev, and I know why, and I've seen it for years, the work they do in the community as well. If I am going to be in automotive sales, I can't think of another dealership I would want to do it at.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Sounds like an amazing place. And I'm glad we got to talk about them on the show here because
Yeah,
I,
I'm realizing it's a plug, and plugs can sometimes be cheesy, but thanks for the opportunity. Yeah.
no, it's really, you know what, to me, if it's good service, a good company, I'm happy to do that. No, absolutely. I've had other companies on, Bill. I think when you have a good product and you have a honest, sincere company that's doing a good thing for the area, that's important. And again, you're there, so absolutely. No, I have no problem doing that. I could talk about that for, there's nothing like success stories. The whole point of my talk show is about people in successful journeys, whether it be overcoming things or as they're on their rise up, or if they've arrived and they talk about it. That's what it's all about. And so I don't mind at all.
And I love your exploration into people's stories talking about success. I think the first thing people think of when they think of success, it's money and security. First thing that comes to mind. But success it does touch on that, sure, but it also encompasses so much. And I'm sure when you explore people and you share their stories and the common thread are success stories, it is inspirational. And great job. Well done.
Oh, I appreciate that. I truly do. I do. Thank you for that. What resonates with people, I truly believe, is when someone can help someone else with their story, with their journey, and help them build their self-esteem. It comes
Hmm.
back tenfold. And you know that because you're in car sales, it comes back to you tenfold. Their family, their friends, they want to say, Bill sold us this car. And it was more than just selling it. He drove it all the way to our place. He did this for us. He cares about us. And they will remember that forever. And that's your character, Bill. Honestly.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So from there, now I know we talked about where you're going forward, and I know you're in the car dealership. Is there any more books in the work, Bill, or are we
I
done
think
with books for a little while?
I think this is it. I think
Okay.
I did a lot of book tours for the first edition. The second edition, I'm only doing one, and that's going to be in Kingston at the Indigo, October 11th, and then that's it. As far as appearances go, the book will always be there. It'll be there forever, and as long as people buy, it'll still be in print, and I'm grateful for that. And like I said, for that first edition is the greatest thrill for me was talking to people who shared their stories about what thousands of interviews I did over the years and them remembering one specific interview. And in some cases, I've forgotten who I've interviewed because there's
Sure.
been so many. They'll bring up a situation where I had totally forgotten about, or an interview, or what this artist said. So the book does contain a lot of moments like that. Favorite comments from Madonna, favorite comments from Mick Jagger from my interviews with them. There's a big chapter about the Tragically Hip. It's a chapter about, and partial proceeds go to the White Ribbon Campaign, which is men ending men's violence against women. And I explain the importance of that particular issue in the book as well. Yeah, that's important to me. And
Thank you for doing that. That's so important. Absolutely.
guys do need to step up because it is a guy issue, and guys need to hear it from other guys. And I think until that happens on a worldwide level, we are going to be faced with ending men's violence against women for the rest of our lives. And guys do have to understand and step up and share their stories. It takes one guy, for instance, in a bar situation, a date rape, drug being dropped. Other guys, oh, that's funny, that's cool. No, it takes one guy to stand up and go, no, you can't do that, man. What are you thinking? No. Maybe the other guy is going to realize, oh, yeah, a guy told me I can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to think about that. Yeah.
Not
No.
cool, right? Not cool.
But
That's
guys
right.
need to hear it from guys, I think.
Yeah. I agree with that. You got to, and that, and you're right. That's your tribe. And when your tribe learns together, then they do better, right?
Yeah, none of this high-fiving date rape crap. It has to come from guys and it has to be told to guys and guys have to listen.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Bill. And I know that part of the proceeds go to that. Again, we're talking today about Bill's book, A Happy Has Been, second edition. We started with the first, but we transitioned into the second. Bill, I cannot thank you enough for coming back on. It's always my pleasure to talk to you. I'm thrilled that I can call you a friend. You're have such a big heart and you're such a wonderful Canadian. You truly are a gentleman, a Canadian, and you have a big heart. I'm very grateful to have you today.
Teresa, keep doing what you're doing as well. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you for the time and attention. And wow, your parents raised a decent child. Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
my friend. Thank you so much. Everyone, this is Bill Welychka. Please go over to, I'm going to have his webpage here. Don't worry, I'll have all in the show notes, everything you need. Go over to his social media and do look at The Happy Husband. There's edition 1 and 2. So you can go ahead on, I ordered right off Amazon. You can go on there. It's under Kindle form as well. So you can do that. Bill, it was wonderful to have you today. Everyone, go over to his site. This is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. Please subscribe to my channel. I truly appreciate that. I hope you're all having a great day, and I look forward to talking to you all soon. Bye.